G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Aussie Starcraft as we're bringing you more of the amazing games from MLG's Game On. We're currently casting the losers match from the Group B stage on day 2 of MLG Game On. In the top left hand corner, as our yellow Terran, we have Neeb. In the top right hand corner, we have Nony playing as our red Protoss player. Now this is game 2 in a best of 3 series. Currently Neeb has got the upper hand, leading 1-0, so if he can take this game, he will progress to first state for his opportunity to move into the round of 8. However, if Nony can come back, it will force this series to a third and final match. So obviously both these players fighting tooth and nail for their opportunity to compete in the round of 8 and hopefully make it through to the coveted finals positions. Now we had a fairly exciting game 1 in this series. Nony very aggressive right off the bat. It'll be interesting to see if he can replicate that in that game 2. Of course the map is Habitation Station, which provides some very interesting opportunities. Things like the high yield mineral patches make for quite a dynamic addition to the map. Not to mention the fact that you have fairly large and direct drop lanes straight into your opponent's base through the top and also through the right hand side of the map. So the main base very exposed to potential drop play either from our Terran player or Protoss using Warp Prism Harass. So it's quite an exciting map. Things like the distance to the high yield, as well as the fact that the natural and third base are quite distant from the main, makes for a few interesting tactical choices, and we've seen some particularly excellent games on this map recently. So we'll see what these two players have in store for us. Nony looking like he's going for a fairly standard Protoss opening. Got his gateway coming up, assimilator already mining. Neeb, on the other hand, is actually going for a gasless opening. Most of our Terran players tend to open with the Reaper, so seeing this from Neeb's a little bit different. Looks like he's in fact going for quite a quick expansion. We have this worker headed out now, so it looks like it will be thrown down in the natural expansion. Always been curious to see if any of our Terran are going to greedily expand to the high yield. We haven't seen anyone do it as of yet, but I'm sure it will be used at some point. It certainly was a big deal when high yields were much more frequent in the map pool. So obviously Habitation Station new here in 2014, and all our players still adapting to the various strategies that can be employed here. Looks like Nony's going to have his mothership core coming up now, almost finished. Chrono boosting that out to defend his own natural expansion, which has just been thrown down. Scouting SCV is going to pick up that expansion, and Neeb will be aware that it is in fact on the field. Neeb continuing to go with this very gasless opening, 3 racks pressure straight off the bat is certainly an interesting build. We haven't seen a lot of it in the past. Neeb obviously very keen to keep any prying eyes out. His Marines positioned here at the top of the ramp as sentinels. And taking double gas now, so I imagine we're gonna see Neeb drop some tech labs and go for double marauder production straight off the bat, along with the combat shield and stim pack upgrades. If I'm not mistaken, 3 workers in each means that this is going to be a timing attack out of Neeb. You often won't see Terran players take their second gas geyser for quite some time. Neeb, on the other hand, has taken both and fully saturated both of them. Stalker here moving up is going to be able to harass this natural expansion. Stalker's going to do a bit of damage as this SCV streaks for freedom. Got to be careful running up that ramp though. The high ground advantage is going to give the Marines the edge they need. Nony falls back with that Stalker, and looks like Neeb's going to construct a depot over here to give him sight of here, just in case of any sneaky warp-ins that may take place. Nony actually going to be hiding a Twilight Council at this point. That's an interesting choice. So I'm curious to see if it's for some sort of Templar tech. It looks like it's actually going to be for a Blink Stalker play, and I think that's an interesting choice for Nony. Potential to blink into the main across this gap always makes for a nice move from a Protoss player. I can't help but feel that Neeb might actually have Nony's number here. His stim pack already on the way. I imagine we're going to see quite an early timing push out of Neeb. phenomenal amount of Marines already on the field. We already have 12 Marines on the field, as opposed to just 3 Stalkers for our Protoss army. We have 2 more gateways on the way, but this is 3 gate pressure. I have a feeling it's just not going to be quite enough here as we move towards mid game in game number 2 of this series. I have factory with the reactor. Now, very likely this reactor will be used for the starport, for the quintessential medevacs that is essential for every Terran advance. Certainly don't want to leave home without those. I'm quite astounded really that we haven't seen a little bit more Marauder production, just this very vanilla Marine production. We do have more, we have another reactor and another tech lab coming down now, so looks like Neeb will be diversifying just a little bit. I guess he didn't want to use the gas ahead of this starport and reactor switcheroo that's now going on, but now that he has the gas available, I imagine we will begin to see some Marauder production along with double medevac production. So that's going to drop the gas count significantly for Neeb, and Neeb's actually moving out now with these Marines. If we check out the unit counting station, it's down 19 Marines to 8 Stalkers, so the Stalker count is steadily rising. We have Nony spreading these out quite wide here across the ramp, so obviously looking for the biggest concave that he can get. Though I have a feeling that Neeb is only fainting, a Stalker actually wandering perilously close. Both those units on the move command, so a little bit short side there. Nony's going to commit very strongly here, but a big stim forward is going to pick up, or actually all the Stalkers are going to make it back. A nice blink there, going to be saving those Stalkers. These Marines have to run for home. Very perilous to be caught here. Another stim's going to drop them to very low health. This is actually a great position for Nony to be in. These Stalkers doing a lot of damage. Stim Marines though going to be able to pick off a lot of these Stalkers doing a lot of damage, but this is just chronic damage to these Marines caught out in the open by the blink Stalkers, and Nony all of a sudden looking very good in this game. Losses tab adding up very quickly for Neeb. Nony actually having not taken a single casualty thus far in the game. Stalkers actually having done massive damage to that Marine push, and first Marauders only just now making out. We have these Stalkers actually going to be blinking straight forward into the main. These Stalkers could potentially snipe the combat shield upgrade, or could actually go for the mineral line, but Stalkers unfortunately going to be caught there. A bad shift Q command, unfortunately 2 of those Stalkers getting caught off guard, and the Marauder's able to do a lot of damage, so dying Stalker's going to quickly equalise that unit's loss tab, and we actually have Psionic Storm coming up now, so some High Templar transition from Nony out of Blink Stalkers into High Templar. These are Stalkers ready to blink into the main, but Neeb going to be scouting that with this factory, and it's a nice move from Neeb to try and keep an eye on these Stalkers. It's not going to take them very long at all to work the factory down. Another volley or 2 will sit down, but that's been great bait for these Marines and Marauders here. Actually pinning the Stalkers up here in the high yield expansion. The medevac's able to give line of sight, and these Stalkers taking a lot of damage. Another 3 Stalkers are going down there. Marine and Marauder production going to be constant here. Stalker's going to pick up a few units, but actually getting sandwiched between these Marines and Marauder lines. All the Stalkers do go down, and that is a massive loss for our Protoss player Nony. Neeb picks up now into the medevacs. It's going to be a great position for a drop in the main base. There's no High Templars or Stalkers here able to defend this at all, so this medevac army is going to be able to move uncontested. We have High Templars and Zealots moving out, but what's defending the main base? 3 more gateways coming up, but a big boost into the main. Neeb's going to unload on top of these forces. Photon Overcharge does go down to try and turn this Nexus into a point of defense. Warped in Zealot, unfortunately, not going to be making the cut. We have High Templar and Zealots trying to make their way back into the force. These units actually quite clustered up for a storm. Can Nony do anything here, or are these units going to be able to make it out? In fact, they do. A storm on that retreating medevac leaves it super low on health, 6 health. The feedback would have actually taken that out along with all the units inside, but unfortunately for Nony, is going to be losing his main base. So main nexus does fall. Nony's down to 1 mining base opposed to now 3 mining base of Neeb, and Neeb is in a position to put on a world of hurt right now. A lot more production. Upgrades are finally down now for Neeb. If we check out the upgrades tab, it is a 1-1 for our Terran player as opposed to just the 1 weapons of the Protoss forces. But this Marine Marauder production is just starting to look a little bit ridiculous. First ghosts are on the way as well, so Neeb is looking in a great position to threaten this Protoss army. These High Templar are all at stand between Nony and certain death. Can he make some use of them? He needs them to land the most money of money storms, but there's a very heavy Marauder composition. Can the storms actually do enough damage? The Marauder's just tanking the storms and continuing to fire into the High Templar. High Templar trying to move around to flank these Marines and Marauders. Big warp in a Zealots right on the front line. Stalkers from the high ground actually going to be doing quite a lot of damage here, but emergency pickup will help those forced to retreat. Nony able to put a lot of pressure on this third base. Can the Stalkers provide enough damage to kill this command center? Looks like it might be able to retreat to safety over the natural expansion. Nony knows he needs to continue to put the pressure on his main base. Still not established. Third base is just coming up now, but Nony looking very vulnerable here. Still at a supply deficit, but unfortunately it looks like the High Templar actually got EMP'd, so there's no storms here to equalise this, and things are very bad for Nony. Those High Templar were all that stood in the way of certain defeat, and now it looks like Neeb himself actually going to be being forced back. Big blink forward onto the Ghost. This seesaw battle between Neeb and Nony. Each player looks to be on the ropes and just managing to equalise by the skin of their teeth. The unfortunately no more High Templar are in play at the moment, and no production on the way for Nony. So Nony has no backup plan here. He really needs to stabilise, get some sort of mining going. Third base just now starting to get established, but no gas being mined is one of the reasons he's suffering. Unfortunately unable to get the gas heavy units needed to deal with this bio. 2-2 upgrades almost finished for Neeb, and Nony's got to ask himself right now, what is the backup plan? These Stalkers continuing to get plucked off by these Marauders, reinforcing Marauders doing massive damage. If we look at the units lost, it's starting to pull away. Nony unfortunately looks like he hasn't been able to do the damage he's wanted with this Blink Stalker play. And these 4 Blink Stalkers are all that's left of Nony's forces in this battle. All Neeb needs to do now is counter attack here, and he'll be in a dominant position here in this game. Few units warping in. We have 2 High Templar here, so Nony desperately trying to regroup his forces as Neeb musters up for what is looking like an absolutely terrifying death strike. The Terran hammer that's poised above Nony's head. What can Nony do here to defend her? I think he's going to need a few good storms. Not a lot of energy on these medevacs, one of the few redeeming factors, but Neeb has the forces here to split up, going to be able to move this force into the main base. Double-pronged assault is exactly what he needs to do. Nony moving out to threaten the third base yet again for Neeb. This Doom drop in the main though is going to cut off any reinforced. Twilight Council does go down. We have these gateways also that could be left unpowered. Neeb just doing massive damage in the main base of Nony. What will Nony do? It looks like Nony's actually going to engage here for the base race. Can he break through? There's some reinforcements still at the top of the ramp. Few ghosts here going to be able to provide a lot of damage. The base race is underway. I can't help but feel Neeb already being the production of Nony is going to be in a commanding position here. Nony trying to force his way up the ramp. Few storms here from the High Templar, but unfortunately picked off by the Ghost before they can storm, and the base race is going to come up short, and Nony GG's out of the game. Neeb takes this series 2-0 and progresses to verse State for the last slot in Group B in the round of 8. So we have Suppies gone through the round of 8 so far, and we have a coming up series between State and Neeb to decide which of these 2 players will move forward into the round of 8. So Neeb, who was unable to secure a win during the group stage, has managed to fight his way back through the losers match into the final match. So it looks like Neeb might be the comeback kid of MLG's Game On. Can he do it against State, or will State put him in his place? find out in the next series of games. Hope you guys are enjoying them. We have plenty more of Day 2 action to follow these games. I have a best of 3 series between State and Neeb, so tune into the channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Looking forward to seeing you in that game. It's going to be epic, guys. Catch it here on Aussie Starcraft. Thanks.